evening and welcome to the Fatback 4. I'm Gav. With me I have a still drunk Seany, a recovering Keith, and in tip-top form, Kev. This show is brought to you by Bobby's Wish to Walk. Bobby's Wish to Walk is a campaign to get Bobby to America to have his treatment like Sienna, and he needs €150,000 to do that. He's topped 100 so far. We're getting close, but we will talk about it later on, and we will remind you later on. On tonight's show, we're going to talk about the Community Shield. We're going to talk about players. We're going to talk about City crying all day and wouldn't take their medals. We're going to look forward to Fulham and anything else in between. But first of all, let these lads explain themselves. Keith, did you have a nice weekend?
Yeah, I did, Gav. Yeah.
Was there
I had a nice. I had a nice Friday. I was at a wedding on Friday, and it was a late one. And yesterday then was an early one, the early start. So I've been sort of chasing my tail since then. But plenty of singing, loads of sing songs.
What was your highlight of the weekend? Because you're like a jukebox when it comes to drinking and singing.
Highlight when it came to the singing, we were struggling to get the sing song going, and
Residence Bar, like
Resi Bar, yeah. Right. So I settled on the Drifters.
Oh.
Wow, Saturday night at
the movies.
I know where I'm gonna go.
Good song. Hard to hit in the
middle. Song. Yeah, well, that's where you hope everyone else joins in with you.
Of course,
you can just slip away.
And then you can slip away, go to the bar, and let them get through the verse and come back. Yeah, I understand.
Exactly, yeah.
So, if you're wondering why Keith's looking a bit worse for wear, that's because of it. It was a wedding that's into its third day by the looks of it. Seany, you went out on Friday after work for a quiet, sociable drink, and you came back an hour ago. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's not too far from the truth, yeah.
This is great.
I sound like I don't even know how I sound like. I sound like Sean Deutsch. They should have just changed my name to Ronnie.
It's a bit Katie Taylor in there as well at the start.
Yeah, it's been an eventful bank holiday weekend so far, and I say so far because it's not completely off the cards that I end up going back out after this podcast. So
yeah. Are you sitting there thinking Cura, even though the days are over? You know the way you get a Cura the next day? Are you thinking half 11 Cura?
Yeah, I don't know whether the kip in bed or the vodka and Red Bull will be more beneficial at this stage. I think vodka that's when it's time to call it quits. Yeah, now good weekend so far. Brilliant result yesterday. Really enjoyed the game without worrying about the game. But I'm sure we'll get onto it.
Good stuff. Kev, how was your weekend?
Quiet in comparison to these two party animals, that's for sure.
So was mine.
Yeah, a few points today, but other than that, got home for the Formula 1 and just chilled out and watched the Euros final, watched Liverpool tonight. Come on here and chat about football.
Good stuff.
Normal Sunday. Happy days.
I went out today. I had 2 points while I was out today at the All-Ireland, and I better get this right because I'm not very good at the gas stuff. So All-Ireland Senior Ladies Football Championship Final. There's a lot of words in that, isn't there?
There is.
Me defeated Kerry to go back-to-back. It was a lovely day out, and I have to give a shout-out to a girl called Jenny, who, while I was having a beer, come over and said hello to me. Frightened the shit out of me, by the way. I went, Gav? And I was like, who the fuck is this? Usually what Seany does when he gets accosted by people. And she was like, no, listen to the show, love it. Want to just say, I wanted to come over and say hello to you, and best luck to you and all the lads. So Jenny, if you're watching or listening, there's your shout out because it was nice to see you today. Now, injuries. I want to start with injuries. Keith, I'm going to come to you first. Oxlade-Chamberlain is being confirmed as having a serious injury while we were on tour. Kanate's gone off tonight with a knock, okay, to his knee, but it looks not too bad. He walked off the pitch. And Jota is still out. 2 big players, and one that you thought might be on the move if everything went all right, but that injury probably scuppers any move. But is there any concern here for you, Keith, that, couple building up there before we get to the first day of the season? Listen, Kanate could be all right. I
think Kanate might not be all right, but
okay,
we'll wait and see. I'd be concerned about that depending on what happens. The Ox thing, I don't think he was going to go. I don't think we'd be able to sell him now. I think injured. unfortunately, a bit like Adam Lallana before him, I think his story of his Liverpool career is just going to be injuries. I think we can survive it out without Ox. Jota was Jota a hamstring, or what was Jota? I can't remember what
I
he
can't
was.
even remember because didn't he get it on international duty?
Yeah, it seemed innocuous. Jordan then played a little spate of Nations League shite at the end of the season. Ridiculous, carry on.
See, innocuous ones that are worrying, Keith, because
Yeah,
do you remember Divock Origi missed the last day of the season over a small knock?
yeah.
Hasn't figured for AC Milan in pre-season.
Hasn't even been in a squad, yeah.
No. So that they can be worried, can't they?
Yeah, they can be. But look, we've enough players in them forward positions that we can survive for a few weeks, I think, without Jota. And Ebu is the one. That's the one that's worrying me a bit. And look, we have players that can cover there as well. So ultimately, a roundabout way of saying, I'm not overly concerned about the injuries at the moment. Everyone picks up injuries. You know, pre-season's always a rushed, condensed pre-season. There'll always be little bits here and there, I think. I think we're all just mentally scarred from a couple of years ago when everyone dropped like flies in key positions, and that really set us back. You know, could we put out a strong 11 without those boys featuring in it? Yeah. Let's just wait and see. David's saying a great heel hamstring for Jota. Lord, a reoccurrence of his hamstring. So, you know, a few weeks out, but you wouldn't think it would be too long before he comes back. But let's just wait and see. The Canate one, I thought while he played on, he didn't look comfortable at all.
Yeah.
From the minute it happened. Sam Tandy saying Klopp said Canate should be fine, but they need to check it out. Again, if you've seen the challenge, innocuous clashing knees, looked like a little bit of a buckle. But yeah, I don't know. I'll just have to wait and see with that one. I'm hoping that's not too serious, just a little tweak or something. Curtis Jones as well on crutches.
Yeah, Macker says Curtis Jones on crutches today and a boot cast. Where has he picked that up?
He only bleeding him off for 2 minutes.
Fuck's sake. Shawnee, you know, the midfield stuff always comes up. When a midfield goes down injured, and I think a lot of people did expect maybe Ox could move on, but that probably, as I said, probably puts an end to that idea. Jota, we've seen it since he went on international duty, and he hasn't been seen in this pre-season really, bar a couple of training sessions. Kanate, we have to wait and see. But are you comfortable enough with, look, we have enough cover here, and they're not long term, and they're not major in the bigger in the bigger scheme of things, because you know Ox doesn't play an awful lot of football for Liverpool. Kanate we don't know on, and it could be okay, and Jota's probably 3 weeks down the line to recovery anyway.
Yeah, to be honest, look, no disrespect to any of the players that could be potentially missing. From what I'm hearing, Klopp seems optimistic regarding Kanate's injuries, which I don't think in the past he would always be more lean on the side of being negative in those cases. We've heard him saying before, it doesn't look good and we'll check it out, but he reckons Kanate will be all right based on what I'm seeing. Jota will be back when he's back. Curtis Jones, look, there's a core of players there who once they off it will be all right, no matter who else is around them. That's just how I feel about it. So I think I'm confident enough going into this season. I think this is probably as ready as we've been for a long time. And one thing I didn't see anybody allude to yesterday was the lack of depth on City's bench yesterday. When I looked at their bench, I was going, yeah.
But
and
Kev has gone on about it
well,
numerous cases over the last couple of weeks.
Said who's missing, Laporte is missing and Stones, yeah, but look, who's going to push onto the bench? Who? Ake. So I think they've work to do. I think they probably need another 2 or 3 in the window, and that's who I kind of set the benchmark against, because I think what we saw yesterday was that no matter what business anyone else does in the league this season, it's going to be us twos again, toe to toe, I reckon, until near enough the very end again. But we seem to be more prepared than they are, if you ask me, even in what we're trying to do. Obviously, we're going to go on to styles of playing, systems and that, but it seemed a little bit forced for them yesterday. I didn't think City were playing their usual game. Thought it was very weird that Bernardo Silva was literally the deepest line midfielder for them. He was like a deep line playmaker. He was taking the ball off the centre half. So I think City might be trying to reinvent the wheel. And there's even talk now that Bernardo Silva could be gone in the next couple of weeks because there's strong links to him going to Barcelona. There's talk of there actually being something there. So I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one. I just looking around the pre-season, Arsenal have impressed. Chelsea are all over the place. United are bringing Fergie back. Ronaldo's walking out of Old Trafford at half-time. And we seem to be the best position, I think, of. So I'm not actually worried about injuries because, like I said, Alisson is expected back on Saturday. Once Van Dijk is fit, once Fabinho's fit, once Mo is fit. That spine, I think, will see us through most games. And I just choose to kind of remain optimistic on this side of things because one thing I've learned in the last few years following Liverpool, there's literally no reason or point of worrying or being concerned about these things because there's absolutely nothing we can do about them. It's something that's completely out of club's control, and our control is just part of the game. And you just got to believe in the players that are there. Look, some of the players we had to run out today because they didn't get minutes yesterday. This squad is really, really is good. And people are just discounting the likes of Carvalho and Elliott as midfield options because it's not what they were initially brought in to do. But they're way more than capable.
Yeah.
Kev, Shawnee says it there, we just go on, we look prepared and stuff like that. And if you think about it, Ox happens early in the pre-season. All right. Kanate happens tonight, which is fair. Jota hasn't been involved in pre-season, so it's not like these three players have been injured against Strasbourg tonight.
No.
Or Man City, yes, and you go, for fuck's sake, we prepared all this and three players are out. It's just the way it is, Kev. Everyone has injuries, everyone has players coming back, everyone has new players coming in that has to bed in. It's just the way it goes, Kev. Like, I'm seeing people in the chat going, we should have signed, like, the midfielder shout was coming back again. I keep saying it, we won't sign a midfielder unless one leaves. Is it just one of those where you go, look, we kind of know this is Bar Kanate is not tonight. We know what we're facing going into the first day of pre-season. Even without an Ox injury, I don't think he gets near it.
No, he doesn't. But Klopp left himself an out when he said that the club were done, barring major injury or if someone wants to leave. The club were finished in the window. Ox is finished. If that's the kind of hamstring tear that they're talking about off the bone, then his career is over at Liverpool. He's done. They're talking about October. It's not going to be October. It might be October by the time he starts training again. Then you're into the World Cup in November. Then you're into January in the next window. So for me, while the transfer window is open, you've got a chance to address it. And you'll be a fool to neglect it. He's always been the player most likely to cover Mo and play in League Cup games or games if you wanted to rest players. So, and he's at the end of his contract. He's not going to be sold. He's not going to pass a fucking physical anywhere. So at times in transfers, sometimes you have to bite the bullet. And while the window's open and you can address it, you should address it. It would be a different scenario if Ox tore that hamstring on the 2nd of February.
So are you saying to me that what's happened to Ox there, the club should address this?
Address the Ox situation now.
The midfield
in the window.
situation.
Well,
I don't think it's a midfield. I don't think it's a midfield.
But apparently there's reports saying that Liverpool are confident of striking an agreement with Dortmund for Bellingham.
Saw that.
In a capacity where he may come in as early as January. So,
okay. But Kev, are you saying, Kev, that to address the Ox situation, you would need to bring somebody in? That's the only way you can.
I'd be looking to bring someone in this window.
Okay.
Klopp left himself that out.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
If there was a major injury, and let's be honest, you strip it back. Fabinho and Henderson are the 6 and the 6 cover. Henderson will play in the 8, and Naby's his cover. Thiago will play on the other side, and Naby's his cover as well. Then you've got Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, and you're trying to blood in Carvalho.
And James Milner.
And James Milner is the substitute.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's the cover for the cover.
Yeah.
Of right back, left back, and across the midfield three. If there's something that can be done, the problem for me is it's not a midfielder you're looking for. You're looking for someone who can cover right wing as well as do a job in midfield. That was Ox. Ox was the right wing cover who could do a job in midfield. It was hard enough to find a cover for Trent. Finding a cover for Mo Salah is nigh on impossible because he doesn't get dropped and he doesn't miss games. And you've got to convince a player who is good enough to come and play for Liverpool if anything does really happen. And by the way, you might not play. But that's why, the transfer lads that we have at the club are at Liverpool. It's never going to be an easy task. But they did it with Tsimikas. So they might have to work their magic to try to do something in this window if it's possible. But it's not going to be easy to do.
Yeah.
And people talking about the likes of sign Moussa Diaby and stuff like that. Moussa Diaby is any kind of player. He's not coming to Liverpool to be the understudy for Mo Salah when he's already starting for Bayer Leverkusen. Do you know what I mean? People, you have to be a bit realistic about you're not going to get a premium top-notch player who's broken through and is an international quality player.
Yeah, it's the one spot. It's the one spot in the front.
It's a horrible position.
It's the one spot in the front three that's absolutely nailed.
Yeah, and that's why having Ox was the bonus. That he could cover that. He could cover midfield, and he was experienced enough. He had a bit of nous about him, and he was comfortable in that position. He was okay in that squad role. So finding that is not going to be easy.
Sam says he wouldn't be surprised if he signed a midfielder now and not register Ox in the squad, as he is out till at least October, but then won't play till January because of the World Cup. Ola Conley says Harvey Elliott will be the more understudy in his opinion. I also think Ox getting injured will give Fabio and Martin, etc., some chances.
That's the other thing.
Let's get into the Community Shield. Liverpool 3, Man City 1, and without going through it minute by minute, the lads done a great show afterwards last night, looking at it in some sort of detail, and going through all the massive highlights. I just wanted to pick out some standout stuff, I suppose. Keith, I'll come to you first. Our style of play and the way we got at City, the way we worked, it's something that we see all the time from us. It's something that I expected because City have played two pre-season games, I think, before they played yesterday. But we're away at Salzburg during the week and we play quite well and we lose 1-0. But was this just us again stepping up and going, listen, it's a Community Shield, we get all that, but we need to make a bit of a statement here. Internally, in both clubs, they feel like they needed to make a statement there yesterday.
Yeah, I think, these are the best two clubs in England. Let's make no bones about it. And they're miles ahead of the rest. And when they play, whether it's a Community Shield, the FA Cup semi-final, whatever it is, these don't want to give the other one an inch because it's all psychological as well as what it is on the pitch. It's all psychological. And to get a little jump on them, look, you don't win anything, but we're going to talk about the game and the things that happen then, and the amount of positives we can take from that will hold us in good stead going into the Fulham game and beyond. So, yeah, I think the fact it's Liverpool at City, it gives it extra spice. And the games with them, that they're always great games with Liverpool and City. Do you know what I mean? Like whether it's a Community Shield, whether it's league games, Champions League, cup games, whatever it is, they're always cracking matches because they're just two excellent teams, excellently coached teams, and you're looking at nearly the most, it's a bit hyperbolic or whatever, but two of the most perfect teams that you've seen in England because their managers are perfectionists. They're so well coached and well drilled. City, to the point of micromanagement, Pep Guardiola's micromanagement is off the fucking scale. And then Klopp with the fact that every player knows his role. You're looking at two absolute juggernauts, and people play down that rivalry all the time, but it's absolutely brilliant. And Liverpool just came out with the traps yesterday. City, two pre-season games. Is it enough? No, I don't think so, but they always do this. You have to take advantage of it. They have a tough start against West Ham. We've gone in and I wouldn't say bloodied their nose, but we've given them a shiner, and I think it's nice to get off the mark in that sense because Liverpool were good. Do you know what I mean? City were good for a I wouldn't say a few minutes, but one period at the second half of the first half, City came into it, but Liverpool were better than the majority of it. And then the second half, I thought Liverpool were a much better side. It was interesting looking at how City lined up with Haaland. I'm sure we'll come on and talk about him in a while, but you could see, not struggle, but there was a few runs that were being made that weren't being picked out. There was a few times that the creative players had the ball and he made runs and you could nearly see them saying, "Look, what the fuck are you doing?" Do you know what I mean? Like, they weren't used to him and he's not used to them. And it's interesting that they haven't played more games. Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas
he is a difference, isn't he? Like, you know, City, when their creative players get it, you'd see their other creative players making runs on the inside channels, or you know, not so much behind, but they get into little spaces. Whereas he's central and he wants to try run behind. And like you say, their creative players are looking, going, we don't really play balls in behind. You know, it was a bit strange, wasn't it, to watch?
I was surprised he didn't play more friendlies. Just the fact that it is a big shift on how they usually play. Do you know what I mean? It's not. Look, it's a forward coming in. It's a world-class forward coming in. He will adapt. There's no doubt about it. But the fact that it changes, we've said it before on these shows. They, like Liverpool, really, they don't play with a striker. Like, and City more so play with like number 10s all over the place. And it's a big jump for them. And I'm surprised they haven't tried to do more game-wise, because it looked very fucking like none of them were on the same page. Do you know what I mean? And I'll look forward to seeing how that goes. West Ham first game will be difficult for them. Do you know what I mean? So I'll be curious. Will they have it ironed out in the next week? You'd imagine so. He's gonna pick up goals. He's not gonna miss chances. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But it was just two absolute juggernauts. You look at it, the narrative was all about Haaland, and then Núñez sort of comes in and I think, has the better performance, obviously, but it was a good game all round. I thought Liverpool, Seany said at the start, were very well prepared coming into this. Do you know what I mean? We look up for it and we look prepared. So, yeah, happy days.
Seany, when you're looking through pre-season, you're looking for minutes and you're looking for players. You see a bit of you can see the legs going in certain areas of certain games. But I suppose when you go into this Community Shield, personally, I look at it and go, I just want to see how sharp we are. You know, if we went out there and we're really sharp yesterday, we're going for 90 minutes, we're creating chances, we might miss a few, we lose the game, I couldn't go, whatever. We look ready. But that package yesterday, Seany, it did look like it was fit, strong, and above it all, whatever changes we made, they looked like they knew each other inside out. And I'm talking the likes of Darwin Núñez. I know Carvalho comes on very late, but you see him involved. You know, and no matter who we brought on, they all just seemed to know their job and were straight on it. There was no kind of, he wouldn't do that next week against Fulham. They all seemed to be on it, Seany.
Yeah, and look, it just harping back to a point that we so often made on here about systems. Like, that's what really good coaching and management does. It kind of gives you this skeleton to build off that. No matter how they put in, once they have some sort of technical ability and tactical acumen, they will fit in the team. Obviously, we're actually looking ourselves at changing it up a little bit this year with more of a focal point in the side. Alan Núñez, but if you actually look, yesterday, Bobby starts the game. So we're still playing the same game we've become accustomed to all down the years with Klopp. And I think that's actually what made us look far better for City than probably, what would you argue, the first hour, definitely. Yeah, obviously they had chances, but I think we just looked more comfortable in our game plan yesterday. We looked fitter, we looked sharper, and I think it showed. I think we were the better side over time. I don't think the scoreline flattered them as well at all. And you could see they were breaking it down on the analysis yesterday. You could see Haaland was making them runs, but I don't think what people haven't really mentioned yet is, like, we say it and people think we say it just because to be bitter or something like that, but it's not. Like, City's football is boring as fuck to watch. Let's be honest. They're calling it, in my opinion anyway. I think that football is very risk adverse. I think they take so few risks. They leave themselves minimum opportunity to be exposed on counters or anything like that, they'll pass you to death and they'll score the same goal. Look at the goal they scored yesterday. Literally nothing different from what they were scoring last year, and the chances Haaland was gathering up. It's going to take them time, because for the first time for me, I seen in De Bruyne where it looked like his decisions were being forced for him. He was trying to force it into Haaland. I don't think and look, that's
like,
one thing.
Like a pressure on him, Shawnee, that we have to include this guy in everything we do now.
Yeah, but not. Yeah, you cannot. Like, one of De Bruyne's best attributes is decision making is normally perfect every single time. And I think, look, it's going to take time. I've no doubt in my mind Haaland's going to score goals in that team. I don't think, in the same way, that shouldn't be the knee jerk.
He'll do 20, 25 plus across.
Yeah,
all
easily.
Yeah.
Easily. Like, and look, that's just how it is. I think we just look more comfortable in our game plan, and we looked more able to bring players in and change it up. Like, you're seeing, I thought Noonan, look, he got a bit of stick. People are getting on me back, but I don't really give a bollock. Stefan Max Thompson, ball complete. I tell you what, Stefan, send me the €100, and if he doesn't score 225 goals, I'll send you back 200. How does that sound? He really impressed me in the game against Salzburg. I've seen a lot to his game where you're just thinking, okay, just got to fall to him, the little bit of sharpness. And there was times in the game yesterday where he really impressed me with his link up with Salah and his movement off the ball. And look, he's going to be a nuisance. He comes on yesterday and he changes the game, wins the penalty, he gets the decisive goal. So it's all looking good for us at the moment. And then you even see Carvalho's little
cameo at the end, yeah.
You know, he looks like he was born in Liverpool jersey. Yeah, he's in, what age is he?
19, I think.
19.
Like, one thing I noticed, and that lad who I can't say his name is another example. Players come into our team, and only by due to that physical profile, you could probably be able to tell that he's a younger player. But they don't play like younger players. They play with experience. They play with, like, Harvey Elliott plays with such maturity. Carvalho, I've seen. I think that's the only thing that's kind of holding Curtis Jones up, to be honest with you. And I'm not to bash him, but I just think sometimes his decision making is very poor. But it's that of a 21-year-old or player his age. It's something you can't improve on. But I just think this system we have at the moment is scary in terms of churning players out. And that's why this lad who's been featuring in pre-season, I actually wouldn't be surprised if he's included in a few squads and playing games, because he does look ready. I don't care what anyone says. Oh, Premier League. Well,
yeah, playing with Carvalho.
No,
Bacic.
Yeah. Like, people would turn around and say, hey, you're doing this shit. Look, I just think there's so many options in this team. I don't know what we're going to line up against Fulham. And if we don't know who are Liverpool fans, it's going to be hard for Fulham to tell. Any team could be named next Saturday at 12:30. You could completely change system. And that's the beauty of having these players sort of available. Like, I'd like to see Bobby come into a bit of form, because I don't think he hasn't lit her up in pre-season. I think he had a little bit of a break. But look, that's not to say he won't. Like, they just thought they were brilliant. And then I'm saying to me mates, like, I think if Haaland stays fit, City will be hard caught in the league. But in the same breath, I think if Thiago stays fit, you'd be doing well the best Liverpool in any competition.
Don't rob all my players now, Shawnee, because I want to talk about. And I'll give you all a chance in a minute. But
honestly, that's all. That would be that was my main takeaway looking yesterday, in terms of injuries and stuff like that. I think there's just a core group of players at Liverpool. If they're available, they won't allow us to have bad results.
Yeah,
because they're just that good.
Antico says, I've actually seen opposition fans say we should be banned from domestic comps because we build that nonsense. I presume you mean the national anthem. The funny thing is, the people that give out, and I'll keep going back to it. The funny thing about this is, the people giving out about Liverpool building that national anthem are the same people that, within hours of that game being over, will be on their social media accounts giving out about the government of the United Kingdom. Simple as that. The same people. Yeah. It's just that I seen another guy today said, "Look, check this fella out. He just keeps mentioning Scousers and Liverpool fans, and he's getting thousands of likes. And this is the way you play the game on social media. Correct. Just mention Liverpool, and you're absolutely flying." But Kev, Shawnee mentioned there about how comfortable we looked with players coming in, and he said it could be a change of system against Fulham. But I seen something like it was average positions on the pitch, right? And Bobby Firmino's literally sitting on the halfway line, right?
Yeah.
And Nunez is 25 yards clear of him. And Liverpool didn't miss a beat. Like, it wasn't like, oh, he's gone right up front and we're going to have to start hitting balls into channels or hitting them at his head. Liverpool did not miss a beat. What he actually done was he said, right, we'll actually put a gap between our midfield and our central forward. And then in that gap, we'll cause havoc. And we just looked so prepared, Kev, and we looked so, no matter who came on, because he talks about Carvalho coming on. He said he actually left it late because he wanted to bring him on earlier, which is a sign of we trust him, and I want to get on to that in a bit. But he was worried about set pieces. He didn't know what way they were going to sort it out, so he left it for a bit. But Kev, we changed without changing system. We actually changed system in a huge way there yesterday. And we don't look like like I said, we don't look like we missed a beat. We just went on and went, oh, he's up front now. Great. Just hit it a slight bit longer into his feet, and we play off that, and then we just cause more.
If you look at Bobby's position and Darwin Núñez's position, and then you look at where you see Trent playing, when either or are on the pitch, it's Trent who changes his position. Trent will drop slightly deeper when Darwin's playing, and he'll be more advanced when Bobby's playing.
Yeah,
it's just one of those little quirks. We'll probably play 3 or 4 systems within a game, depending on the situation of the game. We're well capable of playing 4-2-4 with the current 11 at start, and we're capable of playing 4-1-4-1 off the ball and playing the counter if we want to do that. We play back 3 if we want to do that. There's no one way that this side plays. There's many different ways that this side plays, and you saw it in the DNA of the players who played tonight, because they especially Harvey Elliott tonight for the full 90 minutes was pure energy up and down the wing. He was in midfield, he played up top. He was just give me the ball and go, and give me the ball and go, and he looked absolutely phenomenal. Forget about the result tonight. There were players that played tonight that looked like they just wanted the ball and wanted to impress. Carvalho, another one, played in the false 9 role. Had 2 or 3 really good chances. Did really well against a side who finished 6th in the French league last year with senior players in their 11, and they were playing against the kids, and the kids did well. Young Chambers did really well tonight at left back. Really well. Really quick, and good delivery on him. Put really good crosses in. But the difference between when Bobby plays and when Darwin plays, Bobby is a traditional proper false 9. He brings everyone else into play. And the hope, I think, for when Bobby plays, Luis Diaz has to contribute more in product, goals and assists. He does everything really else. Yeah, he works really hard. He does everything really good. And then he'll get into the box and he'll take a shot that'll hit someone, or he'll overhit a pass, or it's I just want him to start contributing more in the end product, and that'll come when the season starts. We're only in pre-season; it's not the be-all and end-all. But at the same time, you'd hope in pre-season that he'd have knocked a few in by now, or he'd look threatening to do it at least. And he seems to me at the minute he's almost like he wants to pass the ball, when all I wanted him to do yesterday was stand Kyle Walker up and run at the outside of him. Salah did it in the first minute against Cancelo, and he had him in his pocket for the rest of the game. The first thing Salah did, he stood Cancelo up and he went outside him. He went on his right foot, and Cancelo couldn't live with him after that. Mo was just absolutely having a ball yesterday. It took It took Luis Diaz until the 80th minute to run at Kyle Walker, and he got away from him. He had the ball at his feet, and he ran past him, and he went after him, and he went past him. Yeah. So he can do it. It's just, I don't know if it's a confidence thing or if I don't want to make a mistake thing.
I think it's more of a tactical thing at times.
Sometimes, yeah, but other times when he's got the ability, he's got the raw ability, he's got the pace, he's one of the quickest players in the league. Just run at players. And if it doesn't work, fine, but you'll scare the living shit out of the fullback. You'll absolutely terrify him.
But the one thing I would say is, Kev, is that at times you're seeing Luis Diaz be really, really wide, get the ball, approach a defender and try to attract somebody else, and straight away he's off to Thiago, and Thiago's looking to play from there, and we're trying to commit players across the pitch so we can switch. I want to talk about two players from yesterday because I thought everyone played quite well, but Keith, I'm going to start with Salah. Because there was a lot made about his form at the back end of the season, quite rightly. I don't think he was very good at the back end of the season. There was a lot about his contract, and that went on until about a month ago, and he signed an extension, and his body language just looks completely different to me. I'm watching him play there yesterday, and he looks like a guy with a huge weight off his shoulders, but he knows how fucking good he is. Because I thought he was majestic yesterday. There's one flick in the first half when it gets played into him and they're hanging out of him. I don't know how he manages to do it, but he gets the ball through. I think Henderson runs beyond him and he gets it to him. And like Kev said, he's gone past Cancelo as if he's not there. They're doubling up. Ake was absolutely fucking terrified of him. Ake just does not want to get close to him because he knows he'll burn him. But Mo Salah yesterday gave us, from me, Keith, a taste of what's to come, because he looked so free in what he was doing. Head up all the time looking for opportunities to pass and go past players, take shots, strong, everything about me yesterday, Keith. I was drooling watching him.
Yeah, he was excellent. He was brilliant. The thing with Salah, I don't think it's harsh to say he was fucking brutal in the second half of last season, and it was the contract was playing on his mind, the AFCON, the World Cup qualification, an awful lot of stuff. And what came with that was the fact that it was his teammate and his rival, for want of a better word, for all the top gongs in Africa, the African Player of the Year and all these sort of things. And you could see he was just taking sort of, I think with Egypt, I think he too much is put on his shoulders. And anyway,
it's a poor team.
It's terrible. But the whole thing, do you remember there was issues a few years ago, wasn't there, with the bleeding, the sports minister and all was giving him shit, and his family and all were getting threatened and all this stuff. It just seems like it's a bit mad that the pressure that comes on with Egypt. And I think he felt that was maybe his last chance at a World Cup and maybe an AFCON as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he retired from international football soon, to be honest. But I just think that played on his psyche, and the contract thing as well. He looks a different player now. Even in that game yesterday, I agree. I think, look, I'd say we all like Cancelo as a player on this pod. I think we've all waxed lyrical about him as a right-footed left back. You know what I mean? More than capable to play there.
So creative for me.
He was absolutely, I'm going to say, he was muck yesterday. Salah had him from the very start, as Kev said, and he just drove at him. But what I find with Salah, and I think we seen it at the start of last season, was an evolution of Salah that I think is going to carry on now this season. He always was the main man, right? We know he was the main man in the forward sense in the team. But we saw it's Paul Smith's after saying, sorry, Kev, Salah didn't have the better of against Cancelo. Paul Smith comes in here. I don't know what's going on. This is someone's bleeding burner or something, but you watch a different game to me, mate, because Cancelo
won 100% of his dribbles yesterday.
Yeah.
Fucking torched them all game.
The whole game. And as I said,
didn't get dispossessed.
Yeah, we all would say Cancelo's a good player. Do you know what I mean? We give Cancelo his props, but I don't know how people can look at that and say Salah didn't get the better of him. He absolutely roasted him. But I find that the evolution of Salah is he's becoming more of a team player. We saw that at the start of last season. The amount of assists he was getting, it wasn't all just Salah head down, which it sort of became again in the second half of the season when he got a bit desperate. And I think we're going to see that now. He's going to play. You seen it yesterday. He's attracting players to him, and he was flicking the ball out. He was getting that.
The goal for Trent is one of those.
There you go. Sets it up. He was involved in everything.
Everyone's thinking he's coming in to hit that on his left foot, and he just banged.
I thought he was. Yeah.
Everyone did.
Yeah.
Everyone did. Like if you walked into court with evidence, you would say the chance of him hitting that ball towards the top corner is like 99 times out of 100. But now it's just like, bang, here, Trent, you whip it in.
Yeah.
I just thought he was absolutely unbelievable.
He was brilliant.
Shawnee, Salah knows how good he is, right? But is the change in personnel up front something in his own psyche that's going to benefit us. And what I mean by that is that Firmino's still there, but I think he's going to become a lesser force in this Liverpool side, right? And I'm not writing off Firmino. I love him to sign an extension because I just love the fella, right? Mane is not there, right? You have Jota, who's still youngish, right? You have Fabio Carvalho, you have Luis Diaz, you know, you have all these players. Is it going to benefit us where Salah's going to walk in there and go, I am fucking brilliant, but I'm going to show these, I'm literally going to nurture all these players into what they need to be, because let's be honest, in 3 years' time I won't be here, but these still will be. It's that kind of leadership role that he's taking on, because I always seen him as a bit of a leader in numbers, but I didn't see him as a leader in temperament and stuff like that. He's always cold, but do you know what I'm trying to say to you? It's like a new role he's taken on. I think it's just, he looks like it's like a breath of fresh air from him.
I'll be the first to say, Salah bugged the life out of me last year, the way it went on, all this talking in the back end of the season. But look, listen, it's part and parcel of the game. If you actually think about it, Salah has ran a fucking muck since the day he's come into Liverpool.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest. And for want of a better term, he is acting the bollocks. And it's just held against him because the 4 seasons was the record breaking one. But like, you're talking about character there and leadership, Kev. Something he doesn't get enough credit for is the 2021 season when the arse is hanging out of his all and he scores so many fucking vital goals in the run-in towards getting top 4. He never flaked. He never gave up. He didn't piss and moan. He just got on with it. He dragged the team. People probably don't know what I'm talking about because probably like me, just want to put that season out of head. Look at his celebration at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
When he scores the Salah. Look how much it means to him. I do agree with you to some sort of extent where you look and say, yeah, it was the front three of Mane, Salah and Firmino, that famous tree. He's the last one standing now, for want of a better term. But not even that. He's probably arguably better now than he was at the height of that, because this is the best Salah I've seen. He was fucking electric yesterday. How you could watch that game of football and say he didn't get the better of his man. There was about 3 around them at once.
Everyone that came near him, he got the better of them. Like, it was mad. And then they had him down in the corner at one stage. They had him down at once. Yeah, go on.
Does he hit the bar? No, he hits one over. But there's a bit of skill in the first half where a ball gets raked out to him, right? Now, people associate skill with rolling your foot over the ball or throwing a step over or a shimmy or a feint to the body. But he lets the ball run just a little bit. And Messi is the best I've ever seen at doing it. It's like he puts a touch on the ball when you're not supposed to put a touch on the ball. And it's a little slight nick that completely takes Cancelo out of the game. I don't know whether he's remembered. The ball gets whipped over and he stands him up and it looks like he's going to go. But he just takes it. It's the slightest touch. It's like he almost doesn't mean it. And he completely obliterates the defender. The ball drops to him, Gav, and the ball's coming in. You know a player is in confident and in form when he's standing on the ball and running the studs over it all the time and not passing it with the inside, just rolling the ball off the people. And that's what he's doing. He's playing with supreme confidence. The fella's in incredible shape. He always will be. Look, I think the contract will lift a big thing off his shoulders because now he's thinking, right, I'm valued to the extent where I feel I should be. They've rewarded me with this contract, and I'm going to continue to kick on because obviously his contract is still incentivized for him to score a load of goals, and he looks hungrier. And that's not something you can normally say when someone signs one of these big contracts. He looks hungrier because we're all saying this is probably his last big contract. My bollocks. I bet you most. But he backs himself to be at 34, still moving the way he is now.
Still sitting there going, I'll take another 2 years, yeah. Yeah,
give me more money on another 2 years because I've literally been, which will be nearly at this stage, I've been one of the best attacking players in the world for the last decade. Because that's what it's going to be nearly.
Yeah.
He will back himself because that's what he does and he has done, he looks ready to go, and he is a notorious quick starter in the Premier League for Liverpool.
I think
He's
he scored on the opening day of every season since he's been here.
Yeah, just in terms of like fantasy, Kev, if you don't have him, you're watching.
He's fantasy football royalty.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And if you're not captaining him in the first weekend of the season,
you know he's.
I have him vice captain.
Yeah, he's honestly he's looks like he's going to fucking blow the gas.
He's got to do a madness.
The thing is, right? I'm not being funny. Haaland is under pressure to score goals for Man City, right? He really is, because Sterling and Jesus are out the gap, all right? Yeah. They just are. Simple as that. If Núñez doesn't score until October, Mo will probably have 15, 16 league goals by then. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure it really matters. And I'm serious. He could have 15, 16 league goals come the end of October, November. He's done it before. He 20 goals at Christmas before.
Yeah.
You know, like, the games are going to be coming thick and fast. He plays every week. He's always healthy. Like, what can you say? He has everything in sight this year. And look, it's frightening for them, because they would have been expecting an Aubameyang type drop off where, look at Salah now, can't be arsed, but he looks hungrier than ever.
Kev, we've spoken about it's kind of maybe a new rower in the squad because of the personnel around him. But the way he's playing, is the variety in what he's doing, again, going to bring good things to him? And what I mean by that is that we've seen Mo so many times, like we picked out one instant there for the goal in particular. We've seen Mo loads of times come in and try shoot. Hits it over, hits a defender. You know, the odd time he might turn on his right foot and try something. But the variety that you seen there yesterday, right? Where he'll go by a fella. He'll come inside a fella and hit a pass. He'll lay something on for somebody. He'll just tear someone a new arsehole going by them. The variety that you seen there yesterday that you wouldn't always see in games, in fairness, because Mo Salah is very direct and very hungry. We seen a video last week of Curtis Jones going, you only run when you see the goal. It was a joke thing, but there's some truth in it. Where, well, there's not, because he works very hard for Liverpool. But what I'm saying is, where he becomes very tunnel visioned when he gets near goal at times. Is the variety that you see in there yesterday going to benefit Mo Salah in the long run? Because sometimes you know what Mo Salah is going to do, but if he has that much going on where he's, you know, backheeling it here, laying it off there, going by it on the left, going by it on the right, looking to clip it wide, whatever, at any time he could decide, no, I'm not going to clip it wide, I'm actually just going to go by it, and you don't know. That much variety in his game, I think, could actually add another layer to him this season. I really do.
There's a huge layer to come from him this season, and it happened at Roma. And you're going to see the benefits of it with Darwin Núñez. Look at what Mo Salah did for Edin Dzeko at Roma. Look at how many goals he laid on for Dzeko. I think he had ridiculous amount of assists for Edin Dzeko in his first year at Roma. He hasn't really played a full season with a target man since. And you saw the runs that Darwin was making. He lives within the 18-yard box. He lives within the lines of the 18-yard box. He's on in between the two centre-backs looking to split them. And if you've got someone who's of Salah's ability, if you say to a fullback, right, go and press him, he'll go past you. Stand off him, he'll pick Núñez out. You know, there's the devil in the deep blue sea. You know, that's another dimension.
It was the instant for the penalty yesterday. It comes up to Núñez, he holds it, he plays it off to Salah, and Salah goes at Ake, right? Ake doesn't want a bar of him. Ake's like, will you ever fuck off, right? But the thing is, Mo just bang, straight in the box from.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's the variety I'm talking about, because in
that early ball is an
boy,
the early ball when it never would have been.
But that's what I'm saying. And even months gone by, Kev,
if you look at
Mane, like, I'm just going to run at Ake and I'm going to try to get to the end line. I just get around them.
Yeah, it's always been combination play with Liverpool in the front three. For a perfect example is the goal he gets against United, where he plays the 1-2 with Mane clips the ball over. Mo can be quite predictable in terms where he comes inside, but that early ball, that early clip ball is on now, where he can just clip it in. And if Núñez isn't attacking the ball, you're guaranteed he's going to be eating up the scraps and looking for the drop, because that's what killer strikers do. So I think it's a right point by Kev. It is going to see. It's gonna a big time, and I think Mo will relish playing with Nunes. There was a little moment in the game yesterday where Nunes nicks it in front of the defender and links up lovely with him. That is only going to and look, that was my biggest concern regarding Nunes, that he wasn't going to be the type of player who actually had not the ability to do that, because obviously he's a fucking professional footballer, but that's not something that I'd have attributed to him. But it's clear as fucking day he's well able.
He's got great strength in the air as well, Nunes. There was one header that he tried to direct to the far post, and you could see the leap in him and the power that he was trying to generate in the header, and it only just missed. It's those type of things are the little nuggets you're looking to see in pre-season.
And it's not, Kev, it's not like, I don't think you're talking about like, oh, a big man up front, we're just going to launch stuff at him.
No.
It's like that ball yesterday isn't like a winger just gets to the end line and whips one high in the air for a fella to attack. That was just touch out to Salah, takes a run and just bends one in towards him. Like, exactly. It's actually really, it's combination play, but it's just that different, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And the other side of it is, they're the kind of balls that Robertson and Tsimikas do from the opposite side as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to take time for these players to learn how to find him. But when they learn how to find him, because they'll read his runs, and when they know where he's going to be, they're going to put it on plates for him. You know, and Salah will be no different. Salah, to me, this season, look, ever since the contract situation is sorted out and his future is sorted out, he's now the main man. He is the captain of the forwards. He's the leader of the forwards. And he's taken it upon himself, like Shawnee said, I'm going to show you the way now, like he did with Harvey Elliott last year. You want to develop a physicality like me, this is what you do. You know, and I think he's going to grab those players to get the best out of them, and he'll take pride in getting the best out of them. You know, he knows that for Liverpool to win, we have to hit 100 goals. We need to hit 20 clean sheets, and he can't do it all. So he's got to make sure that he brings everyone with him. But he's a vital cog to it. He is an absolute vital cog to it. He is what Messi was to Barcelona. Salah is that to us. He's that important, and God forbid anything happened to him, because
I could,
you know, and you don't even want to say it because
stop
he's
saying
irreplaceable.
it.
He's irreplaceable. But he's irreplaceable.
Why would you even put it
into a fella here with a 2-day hangover, and another fella who's still fucking drunk, and you're trying to do this.
I'm sorry.
Fuck's sake. And I had to go and watch the guard today.
You're sending me west there. I'm going to wreck this.
Shawnee's definitely going out
after this. He'll be going out for a Sunday garden.
Shawnee's not going for a lie down now. Come here.
Captain Morgan's pissing out before I was here.
Keith, I'm going to give you the first shout again, and I want to talk about Thiago, because, you know, we talk about the pace of Salah. I thought Diaz worked really hard and stretched the game for us. I thought Fabinho was excellent. I thought Henderson worked really hard, especially when we were trying to get on top of them. Really good. I thought he wasted a couple of situations, but look, it happens. But Thiago yesterday was just orchestrating everything to the point where Rodri is on his knees crawling around the sideline trying to get at him. And Shawnee said it earlier, like, you just don't want to see anything happen to him, because I agree with him. I think if you keep this fella fit for 30 plus league games this season, I think it's so hard to stop Liverpool, because he has everything, Keith.
Yeah, he's unreal. Do you know what I mean? Like, you think back to when we signed him, and me and Sean, you definitely were on a show, and we were fucking waxing lyrical about this fella. And he comes to Liverpool, and so many people are trying to knock him. Do you know what I mean? It's the same old story with Liverpool signings. So many people are trying to knock him, and he's not able for this, he can't do that, he's getting yellow cards, he can't tackle, he can't do this, he's just like a worse tackler than Paul Scholes. I think he's the best midfielder in the world, personally. And I know Kevin De Bruyne is different. Kevin De Bruyne is more of an attacking threat, and Thiago doesn't give you that goal threat. But I've rarely seen a player being able to manipulate the ball the way Thiago does. Lionel Messi can do it. You can make the ball dance, but there's not many that can do it. And this fella, you can put 2 men on him, 3 men on him, he gets away from them. He does the same 1 or 2 little moves, the little shoulder drop, and he can't stop him.
I remember the time he shimmied by a fella with using his head. He usually moved his head, nothing on his body, just his head, and the fella went to the shop for a batch loaf. It was mad.
It's unbelievable how good this fella is, and you know, people have a lot of egg on their face, but I think it was quite telling. I think wasn't he voted by the players and the team of the year? I think he was in the midfield and in the team of the year, and fans obviously losing their shit of not Liverpool fans. And you're like, players know this. Players know how good this fella is. He doesn't need to be scoring 20 goals a season to be getting the recognition, because he is just on a different planet. Do you know what I mean? He's playing a different game to most of our players, and we have him in that team. And Klopp is improving him. Do you know what I mean? He's 31 years old, and he said himself, Klopp's improving him. He played for Pep. Yeah, played for Pep. Pep's a bastard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And he's played for him for long enough, and he's saying Klopp's making him run.
Owen Burke says, Kev, you would have been barred from Hogwarts, strolling around saying Voldemort's name all day. Yeah, that's fair. Kev B says, slows it down, ? Only thing he slowed down is non-football brains. Remember when
slowed down is time itself.
Jonathan says, remember when Kenny Cunningham said he was a liability? Don't listen to a word Kenny Cunningham says, for fuck's sake.
There was plenty
of
You
want to be on drugs to be listening to that fella.
I'm going to give you
wasn't
the
just
first
Kenny.
boiling hot take of the season, and I'm going to go out and say Thiago Alcantara is the most technically gifted footballer to ever play for Liverpool Football Club.
I think he's outrageous.
Yeah. He's unbelievable.
Kieran McVeigh there in with a good shot as well. Andrea Pirlo is played at a world class level well into his 30s. And no reason why Thiago can't.
One thing I know about Thiago is he's looking a little bit chunkier these days.
Yeah.
A big hoop on him. I know it was yesterday, the big arse on him.
Nothing wrong with that.
I think he's had to be in the gym. I think he's had to be on a bit of a program. I think he looked a little bit more. Rodri bounced off him. Rodri's built like a bleeding one of them American fridges that has two doors that Andy Young has.
And one, you know, where you can get the ice out of it now.
He's fuck. The players were bouncing on him. Honest to God, he looks like he's had to be.
He's definitely bulked up.
He's looked like he was given a little program in the summer, and he's had to come back a little bit chunkier. Big arse on him. That Ronaldinho arse. I can't go near them because I'm just going to bounce off it. Has its own gravitational field. He's fucking magic. You know, I'm upset.
The one on the sideline yesterday was fucking hilarious.
He's 27.
Because your man, Rodri is trying to climb on his back and he's like, would you ever fuck off? And then and in the slightest small space, Johnny, instead of coming inside, he turns him on the outside, right on the sideline, right? And then another fella comes over and he just goes, fuck off, you, and he just nips it past him. And Liverpool just keep playing. You said it earlier, Shawnee, you keep him fit for 30 plus league games, and I said it on Joe Wayman's show. I said on Joe Wayman's show, I think Liverpool win the league. I've put it out there because I just think that every year, right? But I think I usually have some credence to it. And I think that probably is settled in my mind, Shawnee, what you've said tonight. 30 plus games, league, fit, Thiago. I think it's hard for anyone to touch us, and I don't care who City have.
No, he's just... Look, he makes his tick in so many ways. And he's a fucking battler as well, which is not often talked about. The tackles he was winning yesterday, he put his head in where I wouldn't put a hole in, and that's the gun on the street. And for anyone who's not familiar with a hole,
it's a big stick.
I wouldn't put a big wooden stick in where he puts his head sometimes, to be honest with you. He's absolutely mad. Like, I was watching the game yesterday with a mate of mine who was a United fan, and he was just kind of, I caught him giggling at him the way he did. You know what I mean? It's like, does he make you giddy? It's like a little primary skill crush. You see how you feel all warm and fuzzy. That's what Thiago does for me.
We speak to one of your mates on a nightly basis, and he just absolutely adores Thiago, doesn't he?
Look, you're not.
And he's a United fan. He's a United fan.
Yeah, you're not a football fan if you don't have that opinion on Thiago and Moya. And if you do, it's like, you're probably one of these people who thinks Ronaldo's better than Messi. You know what I mean? That's just... You're
definitely ordering cocktail sausages and chips off the menu.
Yeah, like fucking Gareth Blade and Trauke. But look, say nothing else. But Thiago, I'm going to stop because I actually want to go back out, and if we keep going on about him, there'll be bank holiday Monday in October. I don't even know what it is one, but
we'll make one for you, Shawnee. Kev,
Yeah.
Thiago, outstanding yesterday. And he just, the big thing for me with him is, and he's a fantastic footballer, but he complements so much of the other players we have in the team. You know, you can have a player in that team that's just brilliant like that, but you're kind of going, this fullbacks don't really get forward from the service. He doesn't have fellas that like to stay wide. He doesn't have a fella in behind, you know, the sort of way. But when you look at who he complements in, he knows he can bounce it off Fabinho and get it back. He knows Henderson or Keita, whoever is in there beside him, will walk the bollocks off. He knows he can feed those fullbacks. He knows he has pace out wide. He knows he has a fella that he can throw it into and feed in Bobby, or now with Nunez, he can go behind. And then he's looking at Carvalho and Elliott, and he's going, I love this, because they love finding little pockets. And I'll look over towards the cop end, and I'll hit one down, you know, towards the Anfield Road end. That's what I do. There's just so many players around that complement what he wants to do as well. I think that's a huge thing, Kev.
It was clear why the club didn't have an issue letting Genie go. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they had. He's one of those players. I didn't think you'd see another Xavi Iniesta type player in the modern game, because they were being phased out. You know, these technical tiki-taka players who are so comfortable on the ball without pace. You know, and he harasses players. He wins the ball back. His pressing is brilliant. His counter pressing, his ability to read the game is fantastic. But he's as slow as a wet week. He's not blessed with pace, but he doesn't need it. Kind of like David Beckham playing on the right side of midfield. Beckham never had pace. He just had the ability to pass the ball brilliantly. Thiago is just a shimmy. Just flick of the head, you know, a flick of the hips, whichever. Just move the ball slightly out of his feet. He's just got this 360 vision. He knows where everyone is. And his passing range is up there with anyone. Yeah, some of the passes yesterday, the way that he switched play for the first goal, and they kept doing it all game long. He never misplaced one. He
switches play, Kev, where he actually puts his own player on the front foot. He never switches play where, you know, you're going, you know, he's played it kind of behind Salah, or he's played it a bit ahead of Salah, and he kind of has to adjust. He's literally putting it in Salah's.
It's ridiculous.
He's actually putting it to Salah where he's going, Salah, imagine yourself jogging with a ball right in front of you, and that's exactly where I'm going to put it, and then you can make a decision from there. I think he was absolutely.
I think he's
brilliant.
A phenomenal footballer.
Shawnee,
I wish we had him at 25.
Listen,
I wish he was 25.
Fortune. But
he'd be worth it though.
Shawnee's screen has gone black. I think he's covered his camera. Tom Baldwin reckon he's gone to the loser. He could have. Listen, and he's every right to. He's having a lovely weekend. He's having a lovely weekend. I was going to talk about the lineup for Fulham, but I'm going to leave it because there's plenty of shows during the week where we're going to talk about that, and in particularly Friday night's Premier League forecast show. So before we finish, Keith, City spent an awful lot of time crying yesterday over certain things. Like Van Dijk lashes the ball in the crowd when Salah scores a penalty, and they're all like, you know, like school kids trying to go to the headmistress and rat them out, and they don't take their medals.
Yeah, they'll see that as a.
Is there something in that?
You've often seen teams not taking their runners-up medals or whatever, but it's a charity shield. Do you know what I mean? Like it's.
But that show what it meant.
It's telling. Yeah, it's telling. Do you know? And that's because of the two teams involved. Do you know what I mean? I think if Arsenal beat them in the charity shield, they don't give a shit. They'll take their medals. They won't think too much about it. But that showed the magnitude of the rivalry that's there now. You know, it's a rivalry that gets done down an awful lot because from a fan's point of view, they're not real rivals. But on the pitch, these are two of the best teams.
Yeah, but this is a cigarette paper between them.
This is it is. And again, you know, before we finish up, like I love Pep Guardiola. I really do. I think he's fucking brilliant, and I think it's too easy for people to lash him over. But I'm gonna lash him over, right? He's a fucking mood hoover. Do you see when that goal was given for Alvarez?
I love it.
You see when Alvarez got the goal, and they took him about 6 minutes to give the goal, and he gave it, and then he's about to celebrate, and thinks Pep is coming over to give him a high five, and he starts all this bollocks gesticulating to him and all that, telling him what he's done. Because the camera is on him, and you're like, let the young fella fucking celebrate his goal, will you? You leave him alone. And it's just sucking the bleeding life out of it. His micromanagement of his players, obviously it works. I'm not saying it's a
I
fault.
can see him and Haaland blown up.
Ali says Pep
doesn't
said
like that volatility.
Pep said they took
I
the
can
medals in
actually
the
see
dressing
Haaland
room.
just turning around to him one day and going, "You're a wanker, you know that."
Don't ever try that with me.
Ali says that Pep said he took the medals in the dressing room. Kev B said took them in the dressing room. Arsehole antics. Like who goes and gets them in the dressing room? That's actually. He should have just come out and said, "No, we haven't done that with the medals. We'd sort it out." Like, but to say, "Oh, we went in the dressing room and took our medals," that's. If you'd have won, would you have taken them in the dressing room?
Yeah. It's like Only Fools and Horses. You ever seen Only Fools and Horses where Grandad and Rodney have a fight, or Dell and Grandad, and Grandad's disgusted with Dell, point the principal, and Dell tries to give him a tenner, and the Grandad says, "I don't want it." And as soon as he leaves, the Grandad goes, "Did he leave that tenner?"
Yeah.
That's what Man City's lads were like there. We don't want them blade medals. No, we don't want them. Give us them blade medals. Give us them medals. Do you know what I mean? And it's a bit of pettiness by them, but it's a sign. I'm not going to say a sign of weakness, but it's a little sliver of weakness, in my opinion.
Yeah, Laszlo, I think it's probably spot on what he says here. He says, you walk up and you take your medals. Take them off straight afterwards, but just be big boys about it. That does show a bit of petulance for me. You know, and I don't want to try and read too much into it, but I'm going to. Shawnee, I looked at that yesterday and I thought that not taking medals and being beaten, I think that's and I could be wrong come the end of the season, but I think that's a fairly big blow Liverpool have landed on them with all that together. I genuinely
that carry on. They're not collecting medals because because it wasn't important. Is that what it was? It was something like that. But why is Diaz roaring in someone's face when he missing chances and stuff like that? Like,
yeah.
That's all. It was just fucking the same mentality declining. I know they won the league last year, but let's be honest, just about let's be no fucking the way they carried on, the shite you are coming out with. They're great leaders. They're horrible losers. They're terrible chasers. I think our job this year will be to make them chase us, because we seen yesterday they don't have to fucking go when it's not going the way, because that's setting an awful example for the likes of Alvarez and Haaland, who've just turned up there, and that's how you treat it, is it?
Does it show a weakness in them?
Or is it? Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's. I don't think maybe the desired effect was to be the opposite, to say that look, we don't accept losing or something like that. But look, let's be honest. And I'm not going to big it up. It's the fucking curtain raiser of the season. The game was played with the intensity as if it mattered, and I think what Keith said is spot on there. Had it been Arsenal or someone else, you probably wouldn't have seen that in the game. But both sides were barking at the ref. Both sides were getting it was intense.
Yeah.
It was as intense a community shield I have seen. And look, it doesn't normally mean that. They beat us in penalties a couple of years back and we went on to win the league. But it's going to come down to the 2 games against them again this year, I feel. And I just feel we're better equipped when everyone we have is fit and available. I genuinely do, because that's their strongest lineup. Probably bar Laporte or Stones. That's their strong.
A lot of people think Stones is better than Laporte, and I think that's madness.
Yeah, and I think they will lose Bernardo Silva. So I don't know. They're
not going to lose Bernardo Silva and not bring somebody in, Johnny.
Yeah, but Gav, it's not. Yeah, just because they've loads of money, it doesn't mean they're going to get it right with who they bring in.
I know that.
I don't know who you bring in to replace him now, Danny.
Yeah.
I think they probably would do. They might do a swap with De Jong.
De Jong is to get De Jong off the wage bill. That's not like for like.
No,
that's a
not.
big difference.
But it's like for like in the position that Bernardo Silva was playing yesterday.
Yeah, but I think Guardiola likes more creative players in that. As Shawnee was saying, that is fair.
Because I was shocked with Bernardo yesterday, the positions he was picking the ball up in.
Yeah, but you have to get someone deeper, because this fella's playing right up front now.
They're massively short in numbers, full stop.
Yeah,
Sean is dead right. Sean is dead right in what he was saying about when you, at the very start of the show, when you looked at the benches of the 2 sides, and then you looked at the players that we didn't have on the bench at all. Yeah. And then you do the same for City, and they had 3 kids on the bench. He didn't use all his subs, and the players, there's no such thing as a friendly between these two clubs anymore. They played hammer and tongs for 97 minutes and they wanted to win it. As much as we did. I had pre-game nerves for the first time in months, yesterday when I was watching the build-up. I thought, yeah, this is Man City. This is not a jokey gimme pre-season friendly. If you get a chance to give them a right hook on the end of the nose, you do it. And we did. And we look good doing it as well. And there's got to be 19 other sides watching that game yesterday, or 18 other sides watching that game yesterday, not looking forward to playing us.
Scouser P says shithousery is what it is, Gav. Shithousery is when you do something for your own benefit, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's not shithousery.
That yesterday wasn't shithousery for me. That's
shy hawkery.
That was shy hawkery. But that was petulance. Like they listen. It's the Community Shield. A lot of fans go into it thinking, whatever. And I was kind of one of them. I just wanted to see minutes. I wanted to see fitness, where we are, and kind of forget the scoreline a little bit. But what they done there yesterday was kick and scream for a lot of it. And then just take your medal, like someone says. Take your medal, walk away, take it off, shrug it off and walk away. But you can't really shrug it off when you're having to explain where you accepted your medals. Why are you accepting it at what's basically a charity game? Why are you accepting your medals within the dressing room? You don't want yourself to be seen taking runners-up medals because Liverpool have beaten you. I think, like I said, I could be completely off the wall with this, but I think that showed something in Man City yesterday. And I'm not saying in where they are, but I think they're probably a bit shocked where we are. They would have probably thought they'll lose Mane, Salah still won't have signed a contract, will there be uproar, will we have this weekly circus? And now they're going, no, they just signed Nunez, Mane's gone fair enough, but Salah signed a new deal and everyone's back fitting for her. And they probably, they get very annoyed at Liverpool being anywhere near them because they're cheats. And when they cheat, they feel like they should have it all their own way. And it's not all their own way. And they played that completely wrong for me yesterday.
Desperate for good PR they are. So I'd say what happened there is someone up above got on and says, listen, get them fucking medals. Do you know what I mean? We're putting out a story that you took them medals. There's no way. Because
but saying you took them in the dressing room makes you look worse, Keith.
Yeah, I know.
We legged it off to the dressing room to take our medals.
Yeah.
So we didn't have the respect.
Charity thing.
We didn't have the respect for the Community Shield, or it raises money for communities or football communities, wherever it raises it for. We didn't have the respect to see our end of the bargain day yesterday and take a medal for in a game that, like, it's not a major trophy. It's just a game of football, but it just means a lot more because of the two teams that are in it. It's an arrogance, I think, as well.
This rivalry is normally battered for not being, what would you say, aggro enough. It's getting that way.
Yeah.
It's getting that way.
I'd put a few quid on a red card between these two in the first game.
I'll tell you one thing: the fake love between Klopp and Pep can get the fuck as well, because that annoys me, to be honest. I'm
starting to wear now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just stupid. Just don't play it, like, you know what I mean? I know Klopp's just a nice bloke, but don't fucking play it. And I get, like, De Bruyne and Virgil are apparently supposedly very close.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah, they are really good mates. You can see it with Thiago and Rodri as well yesterday.
Yeah, well, they're country mates, but I think Van Dijk said our daughters go to the same school, like our kids go to the same school, like, and that's fair enough. But don't be buying into this shit that this is on. Look at the way they carried on yesterday. Trent celebration as well, like,
very muted, wasn't it?
I have a feeling I'd say there's a respect there, but I'd say there's equal measures of hate as well.
Do you reckon there's players in it, Shawnee, that would love it to kick off? Would love it to just go over the top, like Trent there yesterday, shushing people. Hendo, Robbo, Thiago, I think definitely.
You look at well, getting off topic here. Well, you look at the type of one thing that shocked me about Trent. Now, this is probably shallow on my end, but he's a young lad. I seen him doing an interview and I was dumbfounded with how intelligent he is, how he carries himself. He's super fucking tuned in for a young lad. You can tell the way he carries himself. He's the ultimate pro Like, you can see it with him. But I have a feeling Trent to be the type. Trent reminds me a little bit of, in a way, like David Beckham, where everyone painted David Beckham as the nice guy, but apparently he was the biggest wanker in the England camp for turning around and just bawling people out, saying, "You're not fucking good enough. I don't like you. I don't like the way you carry on." Apparently that was a big thing with Beckham. And I can imagine Trent hanging around some of them lads in the England dressing room, the likes of Walker and Sterling, and all going, "Yous are all a pack of pricks. I actually have nothing in common." Do you ever get around people and just like, I have nothing in common with any of yous?
Yeah.
I get that from him. And I see
get
that
with people that don't drink.
I see that with him, where he's kind of going, "Yeah, you're not from me.
I get the
you're
feeling.
Not from me. It's gonna boil over."
Yeah, I get the feeling a few players that like it. Like, did you see Trent during the week knocking the cross in for? I think it was Nigel Mansell scored the heady in the Formula 1 car.
Yeah,
it was deadly, wasn't it? Was it Nigel Mansell scored the heady?
He knocked it onto somebody. I don't know.
It was ridiculous. He's knocking an assist for Formula 1 cars to score headies. It was unbelievable. But I do get that feeling that you might see, I think a couple of love to boil over. Like a real fucking carnage at one of the games where there's just everything going on. Klopp's absolutely loafing Pep around the gaff and all. It'll be bleeding deadly.
Them City lads are all like on the edge of being absolute fucking losing their rag. Look at Jack Grealish as well. He was having rows during the pre-season game and all, wasn't he? With a show with the keeper and all. He's walks a tightrope. He's easily wound up. Kyle Walker, when he done that bleeding interview with his England cap on and his Champions League losers medal, that's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
That's a loser coming out and saying I'm a fucking loser because people.
That was a real show of insecurity, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they're just riddled with it. They are riddled with it from Pep all the way down. The insecurity in that team is fucking ridiculous.
Well, I hope, and listen, they're a fantastic football team. They could probably go on and win everything this season because that's how they show up most of the time. But I'm hoping that Liverpool have struck some sort of blow there yesterday. I'm hoping that, we got off on a run and, like Shawnee said earlier, get out with the traps quick and make them chase you. And even if that's where they draw the first game, we win our first game, and then just make sure you stay ahead of them and see what happens. I do agree.
I'll tell you what, I honestly think if we can get to the World Cup break 5 points ahead, and we can get most of our players back from the World Cup healthy, we won't be caught.
Yeah, I do agree. I think they don't. You've seen it in 1920 when we went ahead, and they didn't want to know. I hope Shawnee comes back in now because we're about to finish the show, and I don't want to just finish and then he walks back and goes, "Where the fuck is everybody gone?"
That's my next point.
Don't mind me. I'm just getting ready to make a quick dash. That's all.
All right, okay. Shawnee's getting changed. Shawnee's throwing on his bit of splash of dew before he heads back out.
Will be touch.
Anything else before we go?
Nah, mate. It's been a good weekend, to be fair, hasn't it? It was brilliant to see the Reds back in a meaningful. It was a proper game. Let's be fair. It was not in the preseason.
Has Shawnee changed clothes?
Make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I look? They're always telling me I look right in the chat.
You look fucking deadly, Shawnee. Don't be minding what anyone says about you. Go on,
Kev. Yeah, no, it's just great to see him back and sharp. You know what I mean? I'm really looking forward to Fulham. I can't wait for the weekend.
Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing for it as well. I'll be in. I think I'll be in Dublin Airport watching it before I fly out on holiday. Before I get to Keaton, Shawnee, Bobby's Wish to Walk is well over 2/3 of the way there. We need to get him to 150k. Shawnee's acting the bollocks again now. We need to get him to 150k. The link is in the description if you would like to donate. Please do so if you can. If you can't, take the link, send it to your friends, your family, your colleagues, wherever it might be, and get him to that 150k. And when we get him to the 150k, he can go off, get his treatment. It's life-changing. It's the exact same treatment, more or less, that Sienna had. And I've seen Sienna go from somebody that needed assistance in walking to climbing wherever she wants. Running around wherever she wants. She's on holiday at the minute. I think she's out swimming. She's in swim pools swimming around the place. Like it's ridiculous how much it does for these kids. She's going to go to school in September. She's going to walk into school in September unaided. I'm hoping one or two of our lads will be there to walk in with her or just talk shite to her while she's walking to school because we're deadly at that. And Bobby is in the same situation, so we want really, really want to get him there. So check that out. The rest of the week on the Trippers, because people always ask. Tomorrow's winners and losers. Tuesday, we're going to record an audio podcast where we're going to try to get as many season predictions as we can. That will be 3 or 4 people having that discussion where we will open it up. Even though it's an audio recording, we've done it last week where people watching can join in, jump on screen if you're on a laptop, desktop, wherever it might be, and give your prediction as well. So that'll be Tuesday. Wednesday, we're going to move the viewer's voice into Wednesday, just a bit of planning going on. And Friday will be Premier League forecast, and then we'll be into the season. And we'll tell you how that's going as we move on. Keith, anything else before we go?
No, I won't bore you with any more stories, so I'm good. Great to be back. As Kev said, meaningful game. Great to see it. Bit of intensity up the Reds.
And will you sort yourself out for next week? Because you're a fucking mess this week.
I will, Lex. I'll be beside the pool next week having a pina colada.
Will you?
Yeah,
I'm going, boys. I love you. So see you later.
Go on, see you, Sean. He's off. Come here. So will I.
Yeah.
So next week it'll be Kev, Shawnee, and I'd say Chris will help us out, and Emmett might help us out. But while me and Keith are away, we're drawing up a plan for shows. We're planning shows. We're getting them all together. We will make sure we try to get them out for your audio downloads. And in fairness to the lads, I've thrown it out to our lads, and they've been brilliant. They're like, look, just let us know the schedule, let us know the shows, and they'll jump in as hosts, as guests, as edit and stuff like that. I think I'm letting Phil is going to edit it all and get out for the audio download. So Phil is brilliant at doing all that stuff, but it's saying that he won't edit out anything, so it could be really bad. It could come back to multiple lawsuits. So that's how it goes.
Oh, one thing, the the code for the fantasy team is Silk 6F.
F for Freddy.
F for Freddy, yeah. Make sure you get involved. Make sure that if there's any edits to your team, that they're done before Friday night.
Yeah, the first game is Palace against Arsenal Friday night, isn't it? So it has to be done by probably 6 p.m. on Friday, somewhere around there.
Before kickoff on the first game.
Yeah, so it'll be probably 2 hours before kickoff. Probably might be 6 o'clock.
But you're locked in. Yeah, you're locked in then until the following week. Then it's one substitution per week kind of thing.
Listen, most will lose interest. But listen, I will tell you, without telling you, I will tell you, make sure you're in our league before day one. That's all I'm going to say to you. Make sure you're in our league before day one. That's all I'm going to say. And if you don't take up that advice, it's your own bleeding fault. And I don't want to hear the likes of Avo, who just pretends he sees nothing, hears nothing, doesn't know anything about shows, constantly asking me what stuff's going on instead of just actually looking for himself. I won't hear it. When we get to week 2 and you go, oh, I actually forgot. Well, fuck you. All right. I can't say any clearer than that. Can I, Keith?
No, that's as clear as you can be.
Yeah. And I've asked for Keith's backup because he's on a hangover and he's taking no shit off nobody. To be fair.
Yeah. This is an angry Keith.
That has been the Fatback 4. 1 hour and 23-ish minutes. It's been really good. Thanks to Shawnee for joining us. He's gone back out. He's back in the captain at this stage.
What it's like to be young,
fair play to him. For a fella that doesn't drink often, he's really smashed it this weekend. Thanks to Keith, who's come back from a 2-day wedding. He's off the back of a 2-day hangover. He's still recovering.
Few days left of it as well, I'd say.
Thanks to Kev, who left the pub and came home to do this.
Yeah.
And thanks to me, who went to watch the GA and still made it home to do it as well. And thanks to everybody in the chat. Loads of people in the chat giving out. Not a lot of people liking. Listen, we've given up. Right?
Yeah.
If you like it, like it. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. If you want to share, share. There's nothing we can do about it. All we do is come in, chat, have a laugh, and we'll see how we get on. That's the way we are at this stage.
The name of the game.
Yeah, no super chats. None of that messing. If you want to give us any money, the link is in the description for Bobby. That's how we work. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.